If you learn one Christmas face paint this year, let it be this one, because holly is age neutral, gender neutral, and holiday neutral, so it just works for anyone wherever you are. So this is how I face paint holly, and I really hope it helps. You don't actually need too many products for this look, but I'm going to be using a green one stroke, and I'm not fussy about what brand or which green, so just choose the one you like best. Any red and white face paint, a small flat brush, just choose the size according to the size of the face or area you're painting. You might need quite a small one for this, but it doesn't matter whether you have a flat one or an angled one. I just sometimes find that angled brushes give you a little bit more precision, so that's what I tend to go for. You will also need a round brush for any details. This one is one of my staples. And then the most exciting part, the glitter. I really like pairing gold with any Christmassy colours. I just think it works really well. So I'm going to use my glitter gel and a little spatula to put that on. All the products I'm using here are linked in the description along with a discount code for the glitter. Now, holly leaves can be a bit deceptively tricky because it's really hard to visualise where you start, where you should go, and where you should end up when you're contending with a one stroke. So I'm going to show you a little trick to getting them right. I'm actually going to mark out my holly leaves first, so I'll draw one long stem down the middle depending on where I want to place it, and then 3 kind of spikes either side to give me guidelines for where I'm headed and where I should go with that one stroke once I start laying colour down. And then the rest of the task becomes a lot easier because you're essentially just connecting the dots. So I'm drawing a little swoop between each of those lines to give me a perfectly proportioned pointy leaf shape. And if you've got any gaps in the paint at this point, you can literally just colour them in. Don't worry if those guidelines show, I'm actually going to go back over them because I think they look a little bit like the veining in the leaf, which just gives it an extra layer of detail and a bit more dimension. If you're practicing your holly leaves on paper first, it's a great place to start, but don't underestimate how small you'll end up having to paint them once you're actually painting on someone's face. So make sure you're practicing them both from the left and the right, and upside down and curving round, and all the different ways so that you're prepared for all of the different and dynamic canvases you'll get presented with as a face painter. So let's put this into practice. As with any eye design, your focal point is right at the corner of the eye, and we're going to create a nice curved C shape around the eye to keep it flattering. So I'm going to use that flat brush and then mark out where I want my holly leaves to go. This is so helpful when you're working with different face shapes because no two holly designs are going to be the same, so you will have to adapt to the face you're working with. And you'll know exactly what that can look like, how big you can go and what shape it needs to be before you start laying down bright green paint on someone's face, because it can be a little tricky to remove or fix on the job. It's just one of those slightly unforgiving colours. Once you have the base of your holly leaves down, I like to just gently trace over those guidelines to give the leaf its like skeleton. I don't know if that's what it is, you know what I mean. Now with the red paint and that round brush, we're going to create the holly berries, and there's like a secret rule of 3 with all art and design, and face painting is no different. When you have 3 of something, it just works. It looks like visually pleasing and correct. So you can either place them around the eye like that, or you can cluster them into a little triangle, which I think looks quite nice, but again, make the call based on the face you're painting. It's quite nice to add a bit of size variation to these, so have one slightly smaller, one slightly bigger. You'll find it's just one of those little details that makes the end result a lot more dynamic. And speaking of details, I'm going to use my white paint just to draw a little highlight around those berries, and then there are so many ways you could finish this off. I'm going to add a few small dots. I think that's quite a nice finishing touch to a lot of Christmas designs because it has a kind of snow-like effect, and then I'm going to finish it off with a couple of flares, which are just pointy little crosses that look like twinkles or stars. And lastly, I'm going to add some of that gold glitter to mine. You don't have to, but if you're a person that chooses not to put glitter on things when you can, we probably wouldn't get on. But that's my basic holly design. You could make this your own in so many ways. You could add holly on both sides of the face, add teardrops, add swirls, add stencils, do whatever. But even in its simplest form, it's a design that's really quick, still looks good, and works for anyone. And if you're watching this on or before the 2nd of December, I'm going to be running a Christmas face paint workshop on Zoom. It's going to be full of design inspiration, demos, tips, tricks, honestly everything you need to tackle the frenzy that is December or the holiday season as a face painter. So please do come and join us. I will add a link below and I really hope to see you there.